Hi everyone, it's me, Cheyenne. So now we are going to be doing the Draw My Life thing, which I have this stuff for it right here. Just so you know, I didn't draw like everything out that I wanted to draw just because it was taking so long. And I said that I would show this to you guys over a month ago. And so I just want to go ahead and show this to you guys, and then I'll explain the rest of my life afterwards, since I wasn't able to draw it out in the time that I wanted to. So here we go. I was born in Alabama at 11:05 a.m. See, that's little me. And we stayed there for 2 years until we moved to Illinois. I didn't feel like drawing Illinois, so I just kind of did this. And we moved into one of those houses that are known as a duplex, because we lived on base both in Alabama and Illinois. So, yeah, we lived in a duplex, but it was a really nice duplex. Like, we had these little winding staircase kind of thing. Well, it wasn't, like, quite this windy, but it, like, had this little balcony thing, and then it kind of went down and wound just a little bit at the end. And they were wooden stairs, so we would, like, slide down them in pillowcases. See, it's little me. Yeah. And, it was always a bunch of fun. It's something that I remember, and I really like to remember. As a kid, I didn't really spend much time with my siblings because I was the youngest of 7, and also I was the half-sister of everyone. So I spent a lot of time with my mom planting roses, and I always wore this one dress that had roses all over it, which I only drew 2 roses on this dress because I was trying to be quick about it, but like, there would be roses all down here, and there would be a bunch of roses on this dress. It was a pink dress, and I really loved that dress. Any roses that I planted, I claimed as mine. And any worms I found, I chased my sisters with. Which, of course, they hated, but... I liked climbing things a lot when I was a kid, and there was one time I was climbing on this van that we had, and there was a metal piece sticking out, and I actually have a scar on my knee from where I slipped and it cut my knee open. So that's what that is about. So of course I lived on a military base, so everyone had someone who lived in the military. And you know, being in the military, you're gonna get shipped out. This really has something to do with something big, so I'm just letting you guys know now. They got shipped out, and you know, there was always that worry, like the nightmares and the worry that one day you'd get a knock at the door and some really bad news. There was always that worry when you lived on base and you had someone in the military. So it made sense. It made sense if someone seemed to break down every now and then, because we all did. But don't get me wrong. I'm not saying what happened to me, what I'm about to tell you guys is right. I'm trying to make sense of it and saying that I understand. So it was in kindergarten, and one of my friends, you guys know that game where you play on the colored tiles, like you jump from color tile to color tile, and you try to avoid the white ones because white ones are lava. Well, I didn't heard about that game until this day. And my friend, while we were supposed to be in line, said that we should play it. And so me and her and a couple of others started playing it. And we got caught by the teacher. And when the teacher asked whose idea it was, my friend pointed to me. Despite the fact that I tried to explain to my teacher the truth, she didn't listen. And she grabbed me by my arm and took me to timeout. Now, eventually, one of my friends convinced her that it wasn't my fault and told her the truth, and my teacher made the other girl apologize to me. But a little bit later, I felt some pain in my arm, and on one side there were nail marks and it was bleeding, and around the rest of it there was a bruise starting to form. And so I went and I talked to my teacher about it. And she asked me what had happened, and I said I thought it was from her grabbing me. And she called me a liar, had me sent home. And my mom called my teacher when she heard my story, and talked to my teacher about it. I can't really remember what happened the second time. All I know is that it happened again, pretty much the same thing. But this time my mom told my teacher that if it happened again, she would call the principal and pull me from school. I don't really remember what happened the third time. This is mostly going on what my mom said. And so the third time, I don't know what I did. She just, according to my mom, she choked me. I think there's a scar on the back of my neck somewhere, but I can't really see the back of my neck, so I wouldn't know. But my mom called my teacher and called my principal, and my teacher told my mom that she shouldn't look at this like a parent, and so my mom said that she would look at it not like a nurse, and then she had to report it. And so after that, I switched schools. I'm not really going to give you guys the names just because, I don't know, they're good schools, they're just, it was a bad experience. That teacher ended up getting fired. So nothing else really happened in Illinois. We stayed there for about another year, and I ended first grade there, and then we moved to Utah when I was about 6 or 7 years old. Of course, so this was another new school. I had to go make more new friends. I was very shy after what happened. And I was short and tiny. I was maybe like 58 pounds. I was a very big introvert, especially after what happened in Illinois. According to my mom, before all of that had happened, I'd actually been pretty good with other people. So, second grade was great. You know, I made new friends. I did pretty well in school. Third grade was great. I made more friends because up in these other cities, like in Utah, there would be like new people every year. So, fourth grade came around, and we had to go to South Carolina sometime around the middle of the year. And yes, I did make South Carolina the Superman symbol, and the reason I did that is because this is where my dad spent a big part of his life, and to me, my dad is Superman. And also, the state of South Carolina, the actual shape of it is quite a lot like the Superman symbol, so that's what I think of when I think South Carolina. And I think my dad. So, this plays into the story as well. So fourth grade came around the middle of the year. My dad got a call from his mom. That's why it says your mom. It's actually his mom, my grandmother. And it was about my granddad. He had cancer. And, you know, when I was a kid, I thought my dad was Superman. You know, I still think my dad is Superman some days. So, my granddad having cancer, like, I knew what it meant. You know, I was a pretty smart kid. I knew what cancer meant. I knew it was dangerous. But to me, this was the man that made my dad, who to me was Superman. And Superman couldn't die. So if this man made this man, then he must be so much stronger he could beat it. You know, that was the thought that went through my head. About 2 weeks went by. We went back to Utah, and there was a new girl, and she seemed nice. Like, everyone seemed to like her. 2 weeks later, we had to rush back to South Carolina, and we got there just in time to watch my granddad take his last breath. It was one of the worst things I ever saw. It was one of the hardest things I ever had to see, and it's what made me realize that my biggest fear was watching someone I care about get hurt and not being able to do anything about it. And it hit me then. If this man could die, so could my dad. And it's not just that. This was the man that, he was a big part of my life. He was a big part of a lot of our lives because he was one of those old guys who was just so influential with everything he did. He was a good person, and he would always tell those stories where, you know, it didn't seem to make much sense at first, but by the end of the story, it helped you out with so much in your life. The quote down here is just a song, because it's from one of the Eminem songs. It's When I'm Gone, because that song reminds me of it because my granddad told my dad not to cry when he died. Anyways, that's all for the drawings. I'm sorry, y'all. But so after my granddad died, I almost shut down for a while after the day afterwards, because that whole night before I'd been crying. But I shut down for a while. I kind of gave up. And back then I really didn't know what to believe in. So a couple weeks later we came back to Utah, and you know, I started going back to school, and you know, the first day back I had actually cried again. You know, first time in a couple of days. And the new girl, like, everyone was in groups when I walked in, and the new girl was there, and she invited me over to her group, asked me why I was crying, and I told her everything, because back then I trusted people. I trusted them so much. You know, it didn't matter who they were to me. And then, you know, she kind of apologized for everything that had happened to me while I'd been gone, and then she asked me if I liked this guy that I had liked, which I did. His name was Zach. And I told her that I did, and I asked her not to tell him. And she did, that day at recess. And so that was the beginning of one of my friends becoming a bully of mine. Because Zach and I had actually been friends for about 2 years before that. And I remember I cried a lot. And he pretty much told me that I would, like, why would I think that he would date me? My elementary school life was pretty dramatic, but you know, it was stuff like that, and it was just, you know, 5th grade rolled around. 5th grade, I don't remember anything bad happening. It was pretty good. I think I got bullied like once or twice, but it happens. It wasn't too bad. And then 6th grade, in 6th grade, I got sexually harassed by one of Zach's friends. And now, I want to go ahead and give you guys a definition for sexual harassment, and there's a reason for this, because a lot of people think sexual harassment is touching, which it can be. Like, touching in a sexual way is included in sexual harassment, but sexual harassment is a general term for it. And when I say sexual harassment, he didn't touch me. He wanted to. But I'm not going to go into depth of what happened. I don't like to talk about that too much. After 6th grade, we moved to South Carolina, actually. My dad retired from the Air Force, and we went to make sure we could take care of my granny because she was living alone after my granddad died. And I started going to Sedgefield. Middle school. And everything was pretty good. I made new friends rather easily. I got a boyfriend. Things were going pretty well. And, I just hoped that they would stay like that. In 7th grade, I got sexually assaulted. Sexual assault is any unwanted intimate touch. It actually happened twice that year, but it's kind of weird, because I wasn't going to tell anyone about it when I was younger, but the person I'd been with had told me to talk to a teacher about it. And so I did. It actually helped a lot. I'm very happy that I talked to someone about what happened, because I don't know if I ever would have told anyone if I hadn't been convinced to. I got bullied a little bit in 7th grade too, but it really wasn't that bad. Really, a lot of the stuff that has happened has made me who I am. 8th grade, I moved again. We moved to Berkeley, in South Carolina, in Moncks Corner. And I started going to Berkeley Middle School. Might as well just go ahead and say it. I made some new friends there, and I'd already long since broken up with my boyfriend from Sedgefield, and so I dated someone there, which that wasn't the best idea. It was definitely not like a real relationship at all. It wasn't something that I would consider what would have been a real relationship. It was an 8th grade relationship where nothing happened. The person was a good friend, but I don't know, I don't think we fit dating. I used to, but I don't anymore. Not too much happened in 8th grade other than that. I made a lot of friends, and I started on the road to becoming who I am now. So 9th grade came up, and I was like, first year of high school, yeah! And that year I made new friends, and I lost like 5 or 6 friends that I had already had, and it was a rough year. And then, but I kind of pushed myself through it. 11th grade rolled around, and I made a couple more new friends. I lost some of my other old friends again, but I kind of just kept myself going, and I got my first iPod in 11th grade. Not 11th grade, why did I say 11th grade? 10th grade, that's sophomore year, there we go. And that's when I started my YouTube channel. And my first video I put up here was actually just a never-ending handshake thing that was for a drill meet. Well, it wasn't for a drill meet, it was at a drill meet that my school drill team was in. And then my next video was What's Beautiful cover, I think. But it was just like, it was these little short things, and then I would wait like months and months normally before I made another video. And so, but I had started it, and that's what had been really important to me back then. I started. And, 11th grade came around, and I forgot to mention 9th grade. I got my first kiss when I was 15. Yes, I was late according to a lot of people, but I was happy. So, my first kiss was in 9th grade. That's been my last kiss so far, because I haven't dated since 9th grade, simply because I didn't want to. There's no one that I found that I liked enough to date, so I've just been single. 11th grade came around. I lost my best friend in 11th grade. A lot of stuff happened, and I'm not really going to go into detail of what happened. But the person who I had been best friends with, she and I we're still friends, but we're definitely not as close as we used to be. And I actually think it's for the better now, because I think she was a lot better off without me anyways. And she seems to be doing pretty well. 11th grade is also where I became best friends with the person who is my closest friend now, Gavin. And I'm actually very happy that we are friends. I don't think I could ask for a better group of friends that I have now, actually, because I'm going to be 100% honest. I believe that this group of friends that I have this year is actually the best group of friends I've ever had. And I don't think I've ever put so much trust into so many people. At least not in a long time. And it feels great to be able to do that. I'm sorry this video was pretty awkward. I think if I'm ever able to in the future, I'll make another one where it's good and, you know, not just kind of boring and silly and just blech. This whole time I'm just like, this is probably really bad, but anyways, that's my story, gal. That's my story. It's not the most terrible story in the world. It's not the best one. It's just mine, and it made me who I am. And I wouldn't change a single thing about it. I'm very happy with what I have. And I'm very happy to be where I am now with all of you guys watching and with all of my friends by my side. I don't think I could ever ask for anything better. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry that this took me so long to make, but I love you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video.